The earliest fragments that the Institute in Münster has cataloged so far come from the 2nd century. Perhaps the oldest fragment is papyrus number 52, also known as John Ryland's papyrus number 457, and this is housed at the John Rylands Library of Manchester University in England.
The unexpected treasure in the trash. When you think of a rubbish heap, what comes to mind? Probably piles of refuse and a not-so-pleasant smell. It's not a place you'd expect to find anything of value, let alone a priceless gem. Yet, over a century ago, a remarkable discovery was made in just such a place. Though not a literal gem, but something of immense value. What was this treasure, and why is its discovery significant for us today? If you found this discovery as fascinating as I did, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and sharing it with others who might appreciate it. Your support helps us continue exploring and uncovering meaningful insights. Now, let's dive deeper into this remarkable find and its significance. At the dawn of the 20th century, scholars Bernard P. Grenfell and Arthur S. Hunt from the University of Oxford ventured to Egypt. While sifting through refuse near the Nile Valley, they uncovered numerous papyrus fragments. In 1920, Grenfell, on behalf of the John Rylands Library in Manchester, obtained additional fragments from Egypt. Sadly, both Grenfell and Hunt passed away before their cataloging project was completed. Colin H. Roberts, another Oxford scholar, took on the task of completing the catalog. As he examined the fragments, he came across a papyrus scrap measuring about 3.5 by 2.4 inches, 9 by 6 centimeters. To his astonishment, the Greek script on this fragment contained text familiar to him from the Bible. One side featured words from John chapter 18, verse 31 to 33. Pilate said, "Take him yourselves, and judge him by your own law." "But we have no right to execute anyone," they objected. This took place to fulfill what Jesus had said about the kind of death he was going to die. Pilate then went back inside the palace, summoned Jesus, and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" The other side contained parts of John chapter 18, verse 37 to 38. "You are a king then," said Pilate. Jesus answered, "You say that I am a king. In fact, the reason I was born and came into the world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." "What is truth?" retorted Pilate. With this, he went out again to the Jews gathered there and said, "I find no basis for a charge against him." Roberts recognized this fragment as an invaluable find. Determining its age. Roberts suspected the papyrus was ancient, but how ancient? To determine its age, he compared its handwriting with other dated ancient manuscripts using a method known as paleography. To ensure accuracy, Roberts photographed the fragment and sent copies to 3 experts in papyrology. After analyzing the script's style and strokes, all 3 experts agreed that the fragment was from the first half of the 2nd century CE, just a few decades after the death of the Apostle John. Although paleography is not infallible, and some scholars argue it could date to later in the 2nd century, this small papyrus remains the oldest known manuscript fragment of the Christian Greek scriptures ever discovered. What the Rylands Fragment reveals. Why is the Rylands Fragment of John's Gospel so significant to Bible enthusiasts today? There are at least 2 compelling reasons. First, the format of this fragment offers insight into how early Christians valued the Scriptures. In the 2nd century CE, written texts existed in 2 primary formats: the scroll and the Codex. Scrolls were made from papyrus or parchment and consisted of long sheets that could be rolled up and unrolled as needed. Typically, only one side of the scroll was used for writing. However, the Rylands fragment, discovered by Roberts, has writing on both sides. This indicates that it likely came from a codex rather than a scroll. Unlike scrolls, codices were made from individual sheets of parchment, or papyrus, sewn together and folded like a book. The codex was a significant advancement over the scroll for several reasons. Early Christians were ardent evangelists, spreading the Bible's message in various places such as homes, marketplaces, and streets. Matthew chapter 24 verse 14 and Matthew chapter 28 verse 19 to 20 highlight their mission to share the gospel broadly. Similarly, Acts chapter 5 verse 42 recounts that the apostles did not cease teaching and preaching Jesus as the Christ. And Acts chapter 17 verse 17 shows Paul engaging in discussions daily in the marketplace. Acts chapter 20 verse 20 describes how he did not shrink from declaring to you anything that was profitable and teaching you in public and from house to house. Additionally, the Codex format made it easier for congregations and individuals to produce their own copies of the Scriptures. This likely contributed to the rapid dissemination and growth of Christianity, as the Gospels were copied and circulated extensively. The Rylands Fragment of John's Gospel is important for another reason. It demonstrates the reliability of the Bible's transmission over time. Despite containing only a few verses, the fragment aligns almost exactly with the text we read in our modern Bibles. This consistency indicates that the Bible has been faithfully preserved through centuries of copying. The Rylands Fragment is just one of many pieces of evidence that support the accuracy of the Bible's transmission. As noted by Werner Keller in his book, The Bible as History, these old manuscripts are the most convincing answer to all doubts as to the genuineness and reliability of the text that we have in our Bibles today. While Christians do not base their faith solely on archaeological discoveries, they hold that all Scripture is inspired of God, 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 16. It is indeed reassuring to find that historical artifacts affirm the Bible's enduring truth. As 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 25 states, "The saying of Jehovah endures forever." This continuity from ancient texts to contemporary Bibles underscores the steadfastness of the Scriptures through time. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. We'd love to hear your thoughts on these remarkable archaeological finds. Have you heard about the Rylands Fragment? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next video. See you then!